Good morning. Glad to have you everybody here with us. Let's get ready to roll. It is now time for the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier and Simeon. Let's get this party started right here, right now with the Martin Houston Show.
From the gridiron to the airwaves, it's time for the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. Martin is a national championship fullback from the 1992 Alabama Crimson Tide. Known for his bruising runs and devastating blocks now, he's bulldozing through sports talk with that same championship intensity. Joining him is his son, Xavier, a savant of football knowledge and statistical insight. He's your go-to source for the latest recruiting news and insider updates from across the Bama Nation. Together, they deliver fair and balanced analysis from an insider's perspective, with real conversations where the callers, the listeners, and the online maniacs get in on the action by sharing their thoughts, their comment, and their reaction. Join our online maniacs at facebook.com/The Martin Houston Show. You're listening to Tide 100.9 and 1230 WTBC. It's time for kickoff, so buckle up and get ready. Cause this is the sound of Bama sports. The Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier is live. Roll Tide, roll!
Roll Tide, roll! Good morning, and it's time for, that's right, it is a Christmas Eve edition of the program. Man, that's fun. We're going to have some fun today. We're going to just let loose and enjoy just a little extra airtime, guys. I mean, nobody else is doing what we're doing on the station. That's why you need to follow facebook.com/The Martin Houston Show if you're on Facebook. And if you're not, you still need to follow there. But then, of course, like, follow, and share on all of the networks out there, The Martin Houston Show. And even though we're not calling this the Houston Huddle, this is a preview of what you're going to be getting when you follow the Houston Huddle. And once again, you can follow the Houston Huddle on all of the places you find this particular, wherever you view this particular show and podcast. And it's easy. The Houston Huddle, at the Houston Huddle on all the platforms. So just type that in directly and you should be able to find it. If you can't find it by typing it in, find the Martin Houston Show on your platform, and then you'll see the ability to link over. So, man, it's going to be a fun morning. We got some great things lined up for you, including talking about LT Overton. We're talking about the portal. We're talking about scheduling and how scheduling. The reason I know I could be wrong, guys. I could be embarrassed today on January 2nd. I'm going to have to eat a whole lot of crow, but they're going to have to make me eat crow. Talking about the Indiana. What's a Hoosier anyway? Huh? What's a Hoosier? No wonder you got the most losses. What's a Hoosier? Huh? Anybody know what a Hoosier is? Anybody know what a Hoosier is? Okay. No. I'm just checking. Well, we're going to talk about Nick Saban and his impact on the playoffs as well. So there's a lot of conversation. And hey, listen, it's a Wild Card Wednesday. So we're going to throw it up to you as well, listening audience, maniacs. Let us hear from you. What do you want? What do you want us to talk about this morning? What do you want us to camp out on this morning? That's what we'll do. We'll go where you want to go. There's no rush. I don't have to worry about. We can take a break in 2 minutes or 20 minutes. We don't have to worry about any of that. We can just finish the topic, not have to pay any bills directly this morning. Pay somebody else's bills. It's all about you and I and us. This is the Houston Huddle on the Martin Houston Show. How about that? All right. Remember that this is the day that the Lord has made, so let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time to notice someone, love someone, serve someone. Be the difference you want to see in the world today. I see we already got the Pittners tuning in. You know who I don't ever shout out? Xavier. Sam Pittner Sr. Now, I think Mr. Reese told me that Sam Sr. got a flip phone. So
Yeah.
he had to listen on her phone. But we need to we're gonna give him a shout out this morning on this Christmas Eve. But Curtis Moore II, George Teasley. We got a new one. The big dog of college football jumping in.
That's Big Ben.
Huh?
That's Big Ben.
Is that Big Ben?
Yeah.
Oh, the big dog of CFB is Big Ben.
Yep.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, I love it, man. We're getting to know each other. It's nothing but fam. Our fam to your fam, wishing you a Merry Christmas. Guys, take it away.
Yeah. I just looked it up because you asked the question, what is a Hoosier?
Yeah.
And the origin is apparently from what settlers used to say to visitors when they come to their cabin doors. Who's here or Hoosier?
What?
Who's your?
Mm.
It's just the nickname for the residents. But it's who's here.
It used to be who's here?
Or who's your, like Y-E-R-E. They call us redneck and country down here, but they used to take the H and make it a Y. Who's your? So who's your?
Yeah, okay. It's about as stupid as I thought it was. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll take it.
But if you're from Indiana, you're a Hoosier. That's their nickname.
Now, do they have a mascot?
They have it's like an animal, I think.
Is it a bird or what is it? What's their? We need to be. Where is Chuck Hunt at when we need him this morning? What is our encyclopedia?
It's a bison.
It's a bison.
Yeah, Huger the bison.
It's a bison.
Yeah.
You know, I don't ever.
They're a bison.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what? I don't judge too much. We're the Crimson Tide, and an elephant.
Well, a lot of people have. There's your logo and your battle cry. You know, the battle cry for us is Roll Tide.
Mm-hmm. But that plays off of our nickname, the Crimson Tide. But our mascot is an elephant.
And I can, the origin of that?
Yep, I do.
Yeah, and so we have a story behind it. But everybody knows Roll Tide, Crimson Tide, elephant, Big Al.
Yeah.
Who knows a bison?
Apparently, it's about their depiction of their state seal as a bison. So that's why they're the bison.
Okay. Well, hey, we got a lot to.
What was it about?
Their state seal.
Their state seal.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, they're still a basketball school, even though they're number one in football.
Until you put a championship ring on that finger and host up that trophy, you ain't a football school. And just because you did it once.
Did you see the comparison of the records?
Yes. Good night.
That's crazy, and it's almost the reverse of everything. Like, yeah, it's crazy. Not even close. But anyway, take it away, and I'll man the comments. You guys go ahead and get the conversation started wherever you want to go.
Sam, I'll let you jump this one off. What you got?
Yeah, as we were talking before the show started, realize that the transfer portal opens up on January 2nd. And as Bama fans, we're all expecting to go and beat Indiana. So I'm like, is Ryan Williams going to jump in the portal, on January 2nd, the day after the Rose Bowl, the day after Alabama's 1,000th win? Is Austin Mack or Keelan Russell? Like, for teams that are still playing that's not going to help them at all. I mean, it goes from January 2nd to January 16th. And so teams that are wanting to compete in the national championship game will lose players on the way to the national championship. And I don't know if there needs to be a scheduling change within the season or the portal. The only 1 week of the 2 weeks of the portal needs to be pushed back, or I'm not sure what it is, but I feel like that is very concerning for college football as a whole, not just Alabama.
They need to get rid of spring practice and do preseason.
Make it like the NFL.
So, and then the only portal would be after. That's the only way you're going to get it out of
time anyway.
That's the only time you're going to get it out of football season, because anywhere else you're going to be school's going to be started.
Yep, and that's the big issue because it's not about the reason the portal is when it is. It stinks for football season. It stinks for players that are trying to play for a national championship. Most coaches are pretty cool about it, and if they win the national championship, they still get a ring because they understand that for what they have to do for them is leave when they have to because their hand is forced. But school, because at the end of the day, they that's their way of still trying to say school is more important or the most important factor, because you can't enroll and then you can't.
Well, actually, go through spring. A few years ago, undoubtedly there's a late enrollment because Alabama had guys 1 year, several moons ago, that enrolled in February.
Did they?
Yeah, they enrolled after they signed. It was a while back. We were on there and I said, he's going to do what? So I think they have some exceptions and things like that, but it's still the point of the matter is it's they need to have one calendar. And I think Oregon's coach, did you see him? Did you see what Lanning had to say when he was dogging the not NFL, the NCAA in the CFP College Football Playoff Committee and the rules?
Didn't he say like these games should be at home as well?
Yeah, he was saying that he shouldn't have to. He said that Texas Tech shouldn't have to wait 2 more weeks to play them, and Texas Tech definitely shouldn't be on the road. I think they're playing. Where are they playing at? Where are they playing? I don't know where. Anyway, wherever their game
is. This round is the traditional conference tie-in bowl game, because you don't have a true Sugar Bowl or Rose Bowl or Orange Bowl and stuff like that anymore. This is the first round, or the teams that got the bye in the first round is the SEC champ, Big 12 champ, and stuff like that. And then, of course, you got Ohio State as well. But Georgia's playing in the Sugar Bowl, which is where the SEC champ played. Indiana's playing in the Rose Bowl, which is where the Big 10 champ plays. And Texas Tech is playing in the Cotton Bowl, where the Big 12 champ plays.
Yeah, and I guess what I'm saying, though, is he was just saying it doesn't make sense. And it doesn't. It really doesn't make sense that the NFL, at least they do it right. The only time there should be a bye week is once the 2 championship teams has been settled. And they could literally do that. The season would allow that.
Well,
you would not be going into, because technically you could be playing on January 1st when everybody's at home, everybody's off work, everybody's watching. You could play that championship game if they were to go back to that. So,
well, I mean, the NFL, they have bye weeks to start the playoffs too.
one team has a bye week out of all of the teams that makes the playoffs, but they only have one bye week. Everybody else is playing. They don't skip a week and start the playoffs.
No, they don't. What I'm saying is like, but is that what you're saying? All the
No, Xavier. If
or
they were
nobody
using
has a bye week and
NFL,
you
if
just
they were
start.
using an NFL model, we'd be on round 3 in college football Saturday.
No, I agree. But what I'm saying is that what you're saying? Like, no, but you'd have to add 2 more teams to make that work. Or no, you wouldn't.
No, you just
No,
start
you wouldn't.
playing. You play last week's games right after the championship game.
Yeah, it sounds good, but thank God for
which is
Alabama that we
why those
didn't.
teams that hadn't played football in a month got beat.
That's right. The teams with higher seeds to me in some ways are at
Yeah,
disadvantage.
4 weeks is tough.
But before we get back into that, Simeon, you were talking about this portal thing, and I think we need to talk. You seem to feel certain that Ryan Williams is going in the portal.
Well, see, it's not necessarily for certain, but it's just if I'm looking at it and I'm advising Ryan right now, one, he's not a part of the offense. And I don't see, unless there is a fundamental change in the system where whether he can catch the ball or not, there's no reason why he's only getting 2 targets a game or 1 target a game. And there are other coaches that can use, with his butterfingers and all, that can use his talents more than he's being used at Alabama. And I don't want him to leave because, I mean, whenever Ryan touches the ball, it's magic every single time. But if you're only getting that 1 or 2 times a game, for a guy like him, that's wasted potential. And it might even just be like a mental thing for him at this point, where if he just gets somewhere else, and I know this is the Alabama show, but I'm actually talking about like Ryan as like the person. Care about him more as a person than what he can do. But just that's the only thing I'm saying is that I feel
You're
like
not.
if there was somebody to leave from the portal that we would care about during this time would be Ryan. And Alabama fans, if you look on Twitter, they don't want him here. And
Some of the
so
biggest Alabama YouTube
yeah,
channels have
want him
dogged him,
gone. Want him gone.
Which
Talking
is
about he runs routes
which
lazy
is
now.
stupid.
And I'm like, he runs routes lazy. And I'm like, okay, all right. Okay.
It's frustrating for me and here's the crazy part, because when he was starting to have his troubles, I kept going in my head, hey man, I remember how great of a freshman year Julio had, and then he had a sophomore slump. Coop had a sophomore slump. Ridley had a sophomore slump. So I'm saying, man, but they were still involved.
Okay, let me break something down. Let me break something down. Coach Moore II, with a maniac moment, says, I mean, it's Ryan Williams' fault that he's dropping passes. Agreed. How would a transfer portal help him not to drop passes? Just saying. He just needs to practice his craft and he'll be fine at Alabama. You guys are, and then there's several comments. I think Keith Holcomb said if Ryan was catching the ball consistently, believe me, he'd be on the field. That's not true. He was not. Ryan Williams, no one was saying anything about Ryan Williams having a drop problem early in the year. No, that was not I think Herb Street started the biggest thing when Herb Street dogged him. But you can look at the way they call plays. Who was getting all of the touches? Who was getting the reverses? They spent all summer giving the ball to who? Gurn, right? And then so guys, I want somebody out here to tell me that if you're looking and Ryan Williams was in the portal with what you've seen him do at Alabama, I mean, if he was at another school and you had seen the potential of what he would do at your school, like if I'm Miami, I'll bring him in even if it's just putting him and Tony out there and swapping up when they run the ball. Guys, he has so much potential. Think about this. If your running backs can't run the ball, why not? Why not let Ryan get some touches running the ball? And that's the part that's me. I'm not saying that Ryan Williams has earned the right to be getting all of the big routes and the first option on the receiver. He hasn't. He's lost that privilege to be the number one receiver.
Number one.
Yeah,
but he's too good. But he's
so
too good
talented.
not to have any touches.
He's too good to be the number 4.
He's too good. Forget receiver. Forget receiver. If Ryan Williams was coming out and we knew that he was, let's say Ryan Williams was in high school and you knew what you know now about him, he would still be the number one athlete coming out. He may not be a wide receiver, but he would be the number one athlete coming to your team.
Yep.
And if he was coming in not as a wide receiver, but the number one athlete, you would game plan him in with touches, reverses, quick passes, etc. You would make it where here's what Ryan's problem is. This is Martin's opinion. Ryan's problem isn't necessarily his ability to catch the ball with his hands. It's his ability to turn his hands correctly. When he's running routes, his instinctive thing is to do this. But if he's standing on a bubble screen, he would run, he would fake like he's gonna go, and he'd come back and you could train him muscle memory over and over and over. Hey, take 2 steps, jump up. Take 3 steps on a slant, turn in.
Because when he uses his hands correctly, he doesn't drop anything. Because I was watching clips.
He does this.
Yes, I was watching what was the game? Was it Wisconsin? He went off earlier this year.
Yeah, when they picked it up and threw it to him.
Well, it wasn't just that.
Yeah,
his touchdown where he went to the side, where it was a sideline route, he caught it, stuck his foot in the ground, spun in, boom. He turned, tied through, and he catches it, boom, like this. And if you and he's done it at times, but then he'll revert because it's the muscle memory.
Alabama isn't the one paying Ryan Williams. Tim Coggins said, I want Ryan here. I just don't want Bama to allocate the big chunk of money to him. Tim, Alabama isn't the one paying Ryan. Ryan has national sponsors. The question will be whether or not those national sponsors do it.
Follow him.
Well, no, we'll keep paying him at Alabama. Did he sign a 1-year deal? And see, Jacob Powell said if you watch his pregame workout, he's catching the ball correctly, but come game time, he acts like he hasn't caught the ball before. And Jacob, that's what I'm talking about. Is when he's running the routes, he loses that form. So use him in the quick passing game. Slants where it's almost instinctive. You're running, you hit to the outside, you come back to the middle. He doesn't have time to, but when he's running the long routes and the ball's on the way, he'll throw his hands up like this. If you do a bubble screen, it's like this. If you do a middle screen, it's right here in front of him. Do things that make it easy for him to mentally.
Because even the one he dropped Friday night, you could see it because all he had to do was, and instead he jumps and tries to catch it like this. Which
and what I think here is this. I think it's become such a big deal that it's now in his head.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think the way his offensive coordinator and him relate to each other, I think that's part of it. I think the quarterback, I think what Ty has looked at Ryan on some pass routes and went away from him. That affects him. And let me tell you, I went through a time in it was my redshirt freshman year. And it wasn't public, it was private. It was at practice. I went through and man, I dropped every ball they threw me. And guess what? They formed a reputation, and I formed a reputation that I could not catch. Well, I ended my career, I caught 17 of the 19 balls thrown to me. But if you ask any of my teammates, I couldn't catch because they witnessed that practice. Right?
Yep.
That's it.
I mean, that's it.
But didn't Ryan have a dropping issue his freshman year too?
Who?
Didn't Ryan drop a lot of passes last year as well, but it just wasn't talked about as much because you know what they did instead
but because he had more explosive plays last year.
Because they kept going to him.
Because he was used more. Because you remember, Bernard was on that same team last year too. And so,
but you know what nobody talks about? Germ had ended the year with more catches than Ryan did.
Yeah, I mean,
Ryan was more. I'm just saying Ryan was more explosive.
Yeah,
is more explosive of a player.
That way. Yeah. I guess what I'm saying is there is zero reason to remove a guy if you can't if you can't game plan around him, then he doesn't deserve to play.
Yeah.
Ryan Williams is right now with the way he's catching the ball, he's not a wide receiver one.
No.
So the conversation needs to move away from Ryan Williams, the wide receiver. Forget the fact he can't catch. Let's just say it.
Ryan
okay.
Williams, the athlete.
Well, I agree with this statement or not. Let's just come out and say Ryan Williams can't catch.
But
he's on your team. He's on your team. What would you do with him? What would you have the most electric, hard to tackle yak guy in the country. Now somebody argue that point. Somebody tell me that once he catches the ball, tell me one player that's more dangerous than Ryan Williams once he has possession of the ball. Name one player in the country that's more explosive and dangerous than Ryan Williams.
You ain't gonna hear me argue that.
And that's my point. Justin Gore said at this point, I don't think Ryan will ever get that fixed because he's had 2 years to fix it and he hasn't. They need to find another place on the field for him. That's my point. I'm not saying he can't get it fixed because I don't think they worked on it last year. I don't think it was an issue. I don't think anybody came in. Keith Oakham said all our receivers starting to drop the ball. So that's a good point.
And here's the crazy part.
It's true.
Here's the crazy part. Say Ryan fools around and has a 5-catch game. He equals his catches from last year. So as bad as it's been this year, he's not too far off of catching what he did last year. But here's the difference. He only ran the ball 4 times last year, but he had 2 touchdowns. He ran the ball twice this year. 2 times. He has run the ball this year. As dynamic of an athlete as he is, and believe me, I love Jeremy. How many carries do you think he has this year?
25.
18.
Yeah, I was supposed to say.
So, like I said, we can move on, but I wasn't expecting that topic to be so passionate. But I'll wait it out. I'll wait on anybody in the country to tell me a more explosive player than Ryan Williams. And if you have the most explosive player in the country on your roster, how do you not game plan around him or for him? At least, what do you see at the next level when you see that pro coaches have it? They'll say, we have to get him 4 or 5 touches every game. Mm-hmm. They don't say catches.
Yeah.
They don't say Christian McCaffrey is right now he's on his trajectory to become the number 1 guy with scrimmage yards from the line of scrimmage. Who cares if that's catching the ball on a screenplay, running a toss sweep, handing it to him? Nobody cares. The 49ers are just going to get him touches. They don't care that his position title is running back.
Right.
He's leading the 49ers in receptions, but he's a running back. Why? Because he's the most dangerous guy on their roster. So they'll take some touches
was
away.
having it with the struggles Ryan has had catching the ball. I would run. He would run the ball minimum 2 times a game while getting, or he would run the ball, take a direct snap, catch a bubble 5 to 6 times a game.
Yeah, and here's the other part. I'll
especially with as dead as our offense was for a month.
You have nothing underneath. Just give him an underneath route every time. Just give him an underneath route.
Where it's hard to do this. Where it's hard.
Huh?
That those crossing routes, like you were saying, it is almost impossible unless you just are broken to do this.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. It's like it would just be
crossers.
You be looking at it like that. You be running. You just tell him run like this, Ryan.
Because you have to turn in. You have to tilt that body in. And so if they ran a slant with Ryan and he did this, I'd be done with it. I'd give up.
All right, we got a couple other questions we want to get to, but I'll close it out, guys, with someone did throw up Tony from Miami. And I would say, yes, that's the same type of player. Watch Miami play. Miami says, if you take away... What
was Malachi Tony's game-winning touchdown?
It was a run. Look at it. Malachi Tony ran reverses, wildcat, speed sweep. He ran everything that I'm talking about. Even though he can catch the ball down the field, they still put him where they're like, we're going to get this guy 8 to 10 touches, whether he catches the ball beyond the line of scrimmage or not. Zachariah Branch at Georgia. They raise up and throw the ball to him. And then how many passes did Zachariah Branch catch on Alabama down the field?
One?
Yeah. But he had like 6 catches. The rest of them were behind the line of scrimmage, where he turned around.
We would literally pick it up and throw it to him.
Like that.
Malachi Tony has 20 carries on the season.
So, and now you can use him as a decoy.
Right.
Now you can move him. Now, when he comes in motion, you better you go look at that poor Texas Tech guy on Tony's touchdown. He was running so hard to get to the other side of the field because he was afraid Tony was going to keep going. And when Tony saw him pass him, he hit the brakes, came back, they snapped the ball. And then Tony just sprinted to the sideline and up to the touchdown, won the game. Yep. So anyway, we had a couple questions, X and Simeon, from the Maniacs. I'm trying to move away from. I'm trying to move away from. Go ahead. I don't know, man.
No, so I think that we've been talking about Ryan Williams, but when we're looking at somebody who is expected to make a big impact come the first. LT Overton, he's back. He's been cleared. He's going to get an opportunity to play. How big is that for this Alabama defense? When you saw Kelby Collins step up, you saw Keon Keeley, Jordan Renaud step up, but you get your big dog back on that pass rush and in the run game.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking like, how are you gonna keep Keon Keeley off the field now? Kind of felt like the Pierre Rousseau thing, where Quay Rousseau was killing it, and then he went out, and Pierre was like, "I'm here," and went on a stretch. And they've been trying to get Keon Keeley to play like this for what, 3 years now, and now that he's finally getting there, I think it's going to be interesting to see how does LT just automatically take those reps back, or do they have something dialed up for Keeley now?
I think you still take I don't know that LT is going to be starting. Because what he can't coming back from is pretty serious. But I think it definitely. But LT is I think first round talent. Keon Keeley is projecting in that direction. I don't know that he's ready to be on that level yet, but he's definitely trending in the right direction, without a doubt. But I think LT makes a big impact, Simeon, for a couple reasons. One is he won't have to play as many plays probably, and he's going to be a little hungry.
Right.
So I think you'll see both of those guys. But isn't it nice that you can now have Keeley?
Yeah.
You're not sweating as much when Keeley is on the field as you were early in the year.
Oh, 100%. And what you also got to understand, they rotate anyway. So
right,
just because, and here's what you got to remember: LT can be on the field, and it might be Collins out, or Smith out, or Renaud out, and you have Keeley in. So then you might have your best two defensive lineman edge rushers in. That if you trust Keon enough, you see what I'm saying? So LT's going to get his snaps for sure, and he probably won't play as much as if he'd been healthy. But you trust Keon now, and he's another guy to roll in and keep legs fresh in general.
I agree with that.
So, but I think it's going to be huge. Keeley, Pierre, LT, Collins, like it's going to it could get ugly if if K. Womack has the same game plan that he did against Oklahoma.
Keith Holcomb said Keeley is becoming what we all knew he could be. And I want to give Keeley a shout out for not leaving. Keeley was one of the top recruits in the country, but he was an outside linebacker. Mm-hmm. He was an outside linebacker. And they his career may have been saved at Alabama by Saban leaving. I'm not sure Saban gets him to this point because this was not Saban's normal style defense, if that makes sense. And Saban admitted he had been looking to try to transition to this and he was recruiting guys to help transition, but did he have a guy on his staff that could coach this defense? This is where Saban was trying to go. And that's why when you do look at some of the guys who stayed under Saban, that's why there was a fit. That's why when he came, Keeley was in the spot, even though he had not played. So that's one of it. The other, he didn't jump ship. The other part is it takes a while when you used to playing standing up, and then you have to put your hand down. Go back and look at the one play where he stood up.
Yeah.
The one play he stood up, when he read that, his closing speed, I was like, oh my goodness. But here's back to LT.
280.
Yeah. Here's the other thing back to LT. LT may be more important than Keeley, though, in this game because Indiana runs the ball more.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Keeley is good, but I think Keely has the edge. It's almost like the Rusal-Pierre thing, to your point, Simeon. Pierre was a better pass rusher. Now he's good, really good on the run. Pierre is a baller. But Quay Rusal, healthy Quay Rusal is
still the better
run guy than a pass rusher. I think you have the same thing with Keely and LT.
Yeah, definitely. I think the two of them, it's going to be a rotation, and I think it's going to be a lot of situational play, which is what you've seen with the Rusal and the Pierre thing. Because Rusal came back with a vengeance. It wasn't like, hey, he's not playing anymore. No, he still gets his snap, and I think he's improving as a pass rusher. You know, he's able to move the pocket a little bit as he's doing that. So Keon Keeley, huge on what we've seen him come quick as a hiccup is good. Doing what he's doing is good, but getting LT, of course, is back. Alabama, they said, is as healthy as they've been since Tennessee. And I think you can go back and look at that and see that. So.
Absolutely. So, hey, another question, since we're on the defensive side of the ball, Tim Coggin says, I like the fact we're about to play a less mobile QB, plays to our strength on defense. What do you guys' thoughts there?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's crucial for Alabama. I mean, Alabama's last couple matchups have been against more mobile quarterbacks. And so that has, their ability to be able to extend plays. Now, when Keon Sabb comes for a sack on, a DB blitz, a safety blitz, you can't miss those sacks on Mendoza. Because if he gets away, that's a touchdown from Mendoza. Mateer's mechanics are so wonky that he – but if you're doing that to Mendoza and you miss that sack, that's a touchdown. And so I think when you have the ability to sack him, you have to bring him down.
100% you got to get Mendoza on the ground. But he is more athletic than you realize. He's kind of in that tie boat. He's just bigger, so he looks slower. You got me? He's 6'5", 230 pounds. But
they're not game planning him to run.
They're not game planning him.
But the most dangerous guy who never got credit for being a great athlete is just Burrow. Okay, he's not in that category. So I would say he's Mendoza. He's not in that.
He's probably closer to Justin Herbert. That he's not super fast, he's not super quick, but that stride will fool you if you're not careful.
The stride is once you get away. To me, it's the ability to make the first guy miss. I don't see that as a bigger threat from Mendoza as I do from some of the other guys we've played. In other words, what's his name is a big boy too. Mateer is bigger than Mendoza. I mean, you don't realize he's 6'4", 6'5".
No, John Mateer's like 6'1".
Go back and look. I may be wrong. I didn't think he was that tall till they said it. That's what they said on TV. I'm like, is he that big? So, but here's the point. Here's the point I'm making.
He's 6'1", 224. Is not.
Huh?
He's 6'1", 224. That's what he's listed at.
So, but here's the point. The point is not how tall he is. The point is he's not mobile. Mendoza is not that guy that he's going to shake in the pocket. He's more stationary. Let me just say it that way.
Yes.
And therefore, I think if you get to him, you can sack him. Now, if he gets out and open, I will agree with Simeon. If you miss him, it's not the fact that he's going to pick up a first down. It's the fact that his mechanics quickly revert back to pocket presence when he scrambles. He steps up in the pocket, he slides to the left, but every time he's doing that, it's about hurting you down the field. And then he got some dogs that'll go catch it. He gets credit for I forget what is it, number 80 81. He's like their third or fourth wide receiver. Every time their two big receivers, 13 and 3, are out, this guy goes off.
The one that caught the pass to end the Big Ten championship.
Number 80 or 81, I think. I don't know what his number is. I'm gonna just say it because I can't think of his name. The white kid.
Yeah,
he's legit. I don't know his name. I don't know a lot of their names. And speaking of that, I think someone early in the program brought up this roster. Let me see, what were they saying? They looked at the roster. MHSO 407X said they have 0 5-stars, not 7, 0 5-stars, 2 4-stars on their roster. Why are they highly rated? I thought most teams wanted the most or the best Jimmy's and Joe's. Food for thought. I have a thought on that, but I'll let you guys refer to that because I have a philosophy on 4 and 5 stars, especially in college football today.
Well, in my opinion, I think one, he's a good talent evaluator, Signetti and his staff. But other than that, 3 stars are, I think, more of like how they used to say in the old school, like they want it more. They actually want to be playing football. You know, these 4 and 5 stars sometimes are all about the money. But if you're a 3-star, you're probably not bringing in the life-changing numbers as, you know, the 4 and 5 stars are. So it's a lot easier to get these guys to buy in on football, not brand deals. And so if you're a good talent evaluator and you can get guys bought in, then that's why you can be dominant in a sport with 3 stars.
Jay.
I think a lot of 3 stars are guys that would be 4 or 5 stars that if they went to camps. A lot of 3 stars are kids that just go play high school football, and so they don't get their name and exposure out there. The especially the higher end 3 stars, because Latsier Brooks is a 3-star. Josh Jacobs was a 3-star. Mark Ingram was a 3-star. You know, you can go through the list of Alabama guys that were 3-star. Quentin Williams, that ended up being All-Americans, first-round draft picks here at Alabama, that were 3 stars coming out of high school. The list goes on and on. But you look at their talent as freshmen, and you go, why was this guy only a 3-star? Why wasn't he a 4 or 5? Well, he probably just didn't go to camps like that. He didn't go to these national camps, which is where a lot of these kids go to get these high rankings and these high the status. That's where it's coming from. It's coming from camps, not always on the field play.
And a lot of that is that they're inviting the best guys, to those camps. So I think there's some legitimacy to it. I think it's one thing. Age. Age. Give me
older.
Duh. Who's at Indiana right now? A bunch of boys that played where?
Oh, at JMU.
James Madison and other places, and they're what, 21, 22 years old. I looked up one thing, and I don't know how accurate it is. It says their average age is 22.
Well,
I don't know if that's true or not, but let me tell you, you bring me, you have some occasional, Jeremiah Smith that's 18, 19 years old, that's a full-grown man on the offense. And at wide receiver, it's a lot easier for an 18, 19-year-old to be able to compete against a 21, 22-year-old DB, because speed is speed, hips is hips, feet, hands are hands. Running back would be the next category. But when you get to the trenches, When you get to the trenches and the physicality of the game, a lot of these 5 stars, Xavier, that's where it shows up. 5 stars in
Offensive and defensive linemen.
Offensive, defensive linemen. Y'all know how they get their rankings by going in shorts.
Yeah.
Like if you run a route at a 7-on-7 camp, I can see whether you can run that route. And if you don't lose it with the pads, then great. But pass rushing in football, I mean, you can't read physicality, you can't read willingness to stick your nose in there. So the athletic offensive linemen get the stars. Them grinders aren't going to camp. Those guys who will stick their nose in there and power drive you on a run block, or who will bull rush you when 2 guys are hitting them, you don't see that at a 7-on-7 camp. So that London Simmons may be the best defensive lineman in the country as a freshman. The reason we don't talk about him is because he didn't come in with all of the hoopla. If he was a 5-star, if he had been rated a 5-star, how Michael Carroll made All-American and that guy didn't, I don't know. Because you can't block London Simmons. And London Simmons came in and earned playing time with the captain. Right? But give me an old school dude. Tell me somebody, how do you get better? How do you get better as a football player? Reps, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Would you rather have a bunch of live reps or a bunch of reps at practice?
Live reps.
Yeah, live.
Go back and look at how many games those guys at Indiana have played. That's why their 3 stars are better, because they played a lot of football. And now that kid, huh?
No, I was gonna say I'll take 85, 22, 21, 22-year-old 3 stars before I take 85, 18-year-old 5 stars.
Right.
Every day of the week. Because I know, now for me it was a little different having gone from high school ball to being in the military, but I also know how much my body physically matured from an 18-year-old to a 21, 22-year-old. And even though I was smaller at 21, 22, I was so much stronger than that 17, 18-year-old version of myself.
Absolutely. And that's what I said it numerous times. The 22-year-old, even though I was a physical football player, I thought as a freshman and a redshirt freshman, the muscle maturity that I had as a senior, I would have made myself cry. That dude that was hitting people my senior year had learned how to play football. Not only was I stronger, I understood leverage better. I understood angles better. I understood the game better. And I think that's why Indiana is a dangerous team. I don't look at the roster and the stars, because those stars don't mean a whole lot if the guys don't translate. Alabama has how many 5 stars and 4 stars on their offensive line?
All of them.
And what do we say is the worst unit?
The offensive line.
Why? Because of how they get their stars. How they get their stars. Go back. I mean, it's the
And you know what? But you know what? You know when the offensive line evaluation started going bad, not just at Alabama, but in general, COVID.
No, it started before that, but it started going bad when it started trending down, and it became. You talking about at Alabama, or just in general?
I think in general.
Yeah, I think it was before that. I think it just showed up. I think it would be 3 years prior to that. I think you just had guys. But I think once the 7-on-7 started adding an offensive lineman and started rating stars based on that is when it started. I think it manifested probably 19 and 20 because all of the older guys they were still playing in 18 and 19, guys who were being recruited as football players, right? And there's a lot of coaches who are lazy and they just take those stars. And there's coaches who will work and evaluate. I think this staff does a great job. Look at the 3 stars that play with this staff.
Yeah.
I mean, they've already got more 3 stars playing in 2 years than probably Alabama's played in a while, even though Alabama's had some great 3 stars. And that shows you the development. And somebody said it, no substitute for experience. So MHS 0407 said at least 50% of Indiana rosters came from transfer portal like FSU a few years ago. And he brought over a bunch of mature players from James Madison who were hungry. What'd you say, Simeon? Hungry to prove a point.
Yeah.
Yep.
They wanted to prove a point. I belong. And they got success, and confidence breeds confidence. And that's why Indiana.
I think it also just shows how bad the Big Ten actually is. You know what I'm saying? They let a bunch of dudes. They let a bunch of dudes from JMU come in and run their conference in 2 years.
Well, all I'm saying is when you have experience trumps numbers all the time. I mean, if I was coming along today, I was a 250-pound tailback in high school. Duh. Of course I was going to have a high average, but I was going to be a fullback in college. Was I physical? Would I stick my nose in there? That was the question that I had to answer. And sometimes at 18 and in high school, you can be so physically dominant that you don't learn how to play football.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You don't learn how to play.
No, you see it. You see it all the time. That is something you see all the time. These guys that are 5 stars, high 4 stars, and they don't translate. And you look at them and you go, man, he's got the size, he's got the speed. Why is it not translating? It's because these guys were athletes, not football players. And not every athlete can become a football player. I play with a couple guys in high school.
Do y'all realize what time it is?
Yeah.
It's 7 o'clock. We still going. We've been going nonstop for an hour. Anything else you guys want to hit?
Are there any more questions?
The coaching tree. The Saban's coaching tree and the insanity of it all. When you stop and think about 6 of the 8 teams left in college football playoffs, Nick Saban is directly tied to. The only 2 are Texas Tech and Ohio State. When you look at Dan Lanning in Oregon, you look at Kirk Cincinnati in Indiana. Kalen DeBoer replaced him. Then you turn around, you go over, you got Kirby Smart in Georgia, Pete Golden in Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin Ole Miss, however you want to look at it, both of them. And I'm drawing Miami, Mario Cristobal was an assistant here as well. So 6 of the 8 teams, Nick Saban has his hand in some way, shape, form, or fashion.
Which, I mean, let's go. We said it forever. We said it forever that all these people were making these investments, all these programs making these investments in saving guys. And you were wondering if it was working. Well, it wasn't working until what?
He retired.
Until he retired. And the reason it wasn't working because they couldn't beat him.
Yeah.
So Saban, I go out on a limb and say Saban in some way, some form or fashion could very well be linked to national championships for the foreseeable future. That
one, he's linked to 9 already. He's got his 7 and Kirby's 2.
Right.
The chances of one of those guys winning it this year is extremely high.
Right. Yeah. And watch this. If you add Alabama to that mix, Alabama's linked to what? 11? like cause of Dabo.
Yeah.
The University of Alabama has either won or produced like 11 of the last whatever 15 or so national titles outside of what Ohio State, Michigan got. So kind of crazy.
Florida State's the other one. So it might be 12 out of the last 15. And
Yeah,
Auburn.
hey
and
guys,
Auburn.
we're gonna. I know somebody said let's do a little overtime. We're not ending right now. We're gonna finish a couple more topics and then we'll wrap things up. Everybody, Big Ben, we won't do the score prediction until next week. Y'all gonna have to remind me.
Thought into it.
You're gonna have to remind me, huh?
I said Bama by 50.
Bama by 50, Simeon says. But X, you know, when you look at this, let me pull up, see if I can pull up this this schedule here of Indiana, because kudos. I don't want to disrespect Indiana. Okay, I don't want to disrespect them totally. But I think who you play matters.
I'm glad you put that clarifier on there, because you've been a little disrespectful. You've been a little bit.
I haven't been disrespectful. I just hadn't given them respect. There's a difference. There's a difference. Disrespectful would be said. Disrespectful would be, come out and say they're a joke. They don't deserve to be there. That would be disrespect. The lack that I'm not giving. You're not gonna get my respect because you beat Old Dominion 27-14 and Kennesaw State 56-7 and Indiana State saying, do I need to Illinois? Don't be putting that 9 up there. What? Illinois what? 63-10. Iowa. They played a good defense. Good defense. No offense. 20-15.
That's true. If I had any type of offense.
Right?
Yeah. Any type of offense. Oh.
20-15. Up that Oregon. Kudos. That was a game where they physically showed up. Okay. So if you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks to prepare for one big game, how would you do? Huh? Right? Simeon, you play. You guys both played at what you call it? If you had Brookwood 5 weeks in a row.
Wow. Shout out Brookwood.
Brookwood.
Homer Williams Sanders.
If you played at Brookwood or went to Brookwood or whatever, you listen.
No disrespect.
Sorry. For those of you all don't know,
that was disrespect.
That was disrespect. Brookwood, if for those who are outside of Tuscaloosa, Brookwood is your homecoming game every year. If you look up and Brookwood is on your schedule, write a W beside. Michigan State, 38-13. UCLA, 56-6. Show me where they've done something. Maryland. Now, I will give them this. This is where you have to give them respect, guys, is they dominated where they were supposed to dominate. So I can't knock them for that. But what team in the top in the playoffs, what would James Madison record be right now? Against Old Dominion, Kennesaw State, Indiana State, Illinois, Iowa, Oregon, Michigan State, UCLA, Maryland. They beat 8-1.
I don't know if they beat Illinois.
Yeah, Illinois was garbage. Don't go by what they were. Don't go by what where they had them ranked.
No, Illinois was 8-4.
In my opinion, they would probably struggle with beating Iowa since just how physical they are. James Madison would.
They'd be 8-1. Maybe Penn State. Penn State. Who should have won that game? Did y'all watch that game? Penn State choked that one away.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did.
They choked that one away. Wisconsin. Purdue. All right. Oh, they beat Ohio State 13-10, Martin. You got to.
They can't score against good teams.
Hold on. Everybody talks about Texas A&M, right? They beat the bottom half of the SEC. Now, they did get the Oregon and Ohio State wins. And then Iowa and Illinois. But half of their wins came against Owen in conference play. 0-9 Purdue, 1-8 Michigan State, 1-8 Maryland, 2-7 Wisconsin, 3-6 UCLA, 3-6 Penn State.
And then Old Dominion, Kennesaw State, and Indiana State.
Mm-hmm. And so, just to put that in perspective, Northwestern was better in Big Ten play than those teams.
So, and that's what I'm saying. And Indiana was 8-4, and I bet you if you go back and break down, Illinois, you break down Illinois' 8 wins, they probably had 3 of them against Old Dominion, Kennesaw State, and Indiana State. And then the other ones was against Purdue, Wisconsin, and UCLA. I mean, and here's the thing. The reason I guess it matters though, guys, or it doesn't matter as much as I'm trying to make it out to matter, is the fact that this team, Indiana, they don't have to play back-to-back weeks. The reason, if Indiana beats Alabama, I still don't see them winning the national title because now they'll have to play 3 tough teams in a row. Now, they've had forever to get ready for us. Because if I was Indiana, I would have spent the last couple of weeks practicing a little bit of Alabama, a little bit of Oklahoma. I would have found out what those 2 teams did alike, and that would have been what I focused on the last 2 weeks. Now I'm all in on Alabama. And so that for one game, they could possibly beat Alabama. But
especially if Alabama doesn't come out strong.
Yeah, exactly. If we come out, I think that, and this was a sidebar, and I think one of the Maniacs brought this up yesterday, and we didn't talk about it, was the ability to script your plays. And guys, if I'm being honest, I think if there was anybody else coaching Indiana, I probably would feel different. It's something about me that just don't like Signetti. I don't like, and I think he may be autistic. I mean, I think he could be on the spectrum. I'm not being ugly. I'm not being ugly. Guys, listen to me. I'm not being ugly.
I'm not saying you're being ugly. It just caught me off guard.
I am, because that's a serious diagnosis. So I want to make sure people, I'm not being ugly. I think Gus Malzahn is on the spectrum. And I talked to some people who were like board of trustees at Auburn. And she told me, she said, we have had that conversation, Martin. That's crazy that you picked up on that from television. I said, I picked up on it from watching him interact with people. People who are on the spectrum, they can find themselves a lane that they are absolutely unbelievable in. And Gus Malzahn has that with the offensive. And when he tries to do something other than play call, he's an average coach. He's an average coach. But when he just goes and says, hey, man, you run this and I'm going to call plays. Every time he tried to give away call play in at Auburn, what would happen? Terrible. They were average. And watch. Okay, I know I probably caught everybody off guard. Samuel Pittman said, I'm sorry. I wasn't trying. Y'all wrong. Y'all doing the old man wrong right here. But
the only reason I lost you.
I'm gonna move on from here. But what I want y'all to do is I want you all to watch this guy in his interviews. You watch this guy in interviews. He is either what I said or he is an arrogant prick. One of the two. What? Oh.
It ain't nothing in between.
I don't think so.
Well, I think he's arrogant too, though. I do think he. But
I was trying not to be calling him arrogant because I don't know him that well. So I guess that was worse. Fumble, y'all take it. I'm Maniac, hang in there
I'm
with
gonna
me.
go.
My son's abandoning me, Maniacs. Hang in there.
I'm gonna go look at some interviews because now you struck something, and now I had to go look at it and figure it out.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. This has happened on several interviews. Keith Hogan said, I think he's just a prick. This has happened several times where they're talking to him and interviewing him, and he's looking at the paper, and they go, "Hey man, just put the paper down. Y'all just won." And he'll start reading the numbers, and he won't stop. Like they'll be like, "Hey, just talk to us, man. Y'all just did this," and he was just wanting to read his paper. I mean. Check Ohio State and Oregon and Penn State. Check those three. Would y'all please take the topic and change it for me, please? I'm struggling, and y'all just leaving a brother out there like just dangling.
Okay. Okay.
Hey, Maniac, somebody throw another question up there so I can get off of this. I need a Maniac moment right now. Okay, Keith Holcomb. Bama will have to get consistent pressure on his quarterback and keep him guessing. See, say I'm wrong. See.
You know what? I just
Come on.
get to do it.
Y'all stop. Let's move on.
Okay.
Somebody take a topic, please.
Okay.
Sorry. We had the portal, we had LT, we had schedule, we had Saban. I'm about ready to do our Christmas message and get out of here if y'all don't cut it out. Anything else before Iris Anderson?
Yes, we do think LT Overton will have a big impact for sure. The consistency.
Yeah, I mean, I think
the consistency he brings down to down is what we will be a big impact.
Hey, by the way, what y'all think about Indiana's schedule?
No, I mean, I think the schedule it's a 2-game schedule. It's what we say. Is what we've said about Michigan. Is what we've said about Ohio State. It's a 2-game schedule. And this year, Penn State was bad. Their 2-game schedule was Oregon and Penn State was bad. And let's not forget, Penn State's starting quarterback in that game was a freshman who I think it was his second start, and they almost beat them. If Drew Aller had been healthy, I think Penn State might blow the doors off of them. When you look at, because they didn't have a passing game. That entire game was Allen and Singleton carrying. If you'd had Allen just to give a semblance of life in the passing game, I think that you see Penn State beat them then. I mean, that's what happened to them last year. They played Ohio State. Their one game got beat. Then they turned around, they played Notre Dame, got beat. That was their 2-game schedule last year. This year, a young quarterback in Dante Moore at Oregon, and then a young quarterback at Penn State. They win both of those games. And then, let's not forget, as good as Julian Sayin has been, he's just a redshirt freshman. Their 3 big games, they didn't have a big big name quarterback at the time, or still some experienced quarterback. Back to your point of experience can sometimes supersede talent when talent is young.
Absolutely. Sim, you got anything on that?
Yeah, absolutely. When you're able to, I don't want to say look ahead, but pretty much look ahead past Indiana State and Kennesaw State, and you can look ahead to Oregon, and you're game planning for 5 weeks for one game. Of course, you're going to have to get the best gameplay when you don't have to worry about the South Carolina, Missouri, Tennessee in back-to-back weeks. It's hard to look ahead. You can't look ahead in the SEC or you'll get beat, but you can definitely look ahead more in the Big Ten than you can in the SEC.
And I would say that you look at the mix-up of the bottom half. Even though I call Texas A&M out the same way I do Indiana. Would y'all agree? Yes. I said I don't think they're that good. They played two good teams, and they didn't win theirs. And part of the reason they didn't win is they played them, I think, at the end of the year. Like they played Miami when Miami was playing better and rested, and they played Texas when Texas had got their freshman or their quarterback, first-year starter, going. You put Texas A&M against those teams earlier in the year, they probably win those two games, right? And that's what. Now I will give, like I said, I give Indiana credit for beating Ohio State, but I think we give even more credence to the Ohio State win because we've said that Ohio State is a juggernaut because they're coming off of a national title and went undefeated. And I don't know how good they are,
and I think the other part of that is because of what everybody did to Arch Manning before he'd done anything. He came in as the Heisman Trophy front runner. He came in as the number one quarterback in the 2026 draft and had 2 starts against UL Monroe and Mississippi State. Because he was a Manning, I don't know if you experienced this much. Really, I hated it at times as a kid growing up because I grew up in that era between Dad's national championship team and Coach Saban's first national championship team of, oh, you're Martin Houston's son. I loved it and I hated it because sometimes the expectations were too good for where I was supposed to.
You didn't get a chance to come out. And they put an expectation on you based on me, not on what God had gifted you to do. Whether you were good, bad, or indifferent, it didn't matter. They were expecting you to come out and play like the guy who had played on the national championship team.
And exactly. So, and that's the same thing that
the same thing. It just wasn't as it wasn't as big a deal here when Simeon came along because other teams had come along.
Right. And what I went through is not at the same level what Arch Manning went through, but it's comparable of because of his last name, he was expected to be here in start number 3 when he is right where most redshirt sophomores are.
Yeah.
And he got better as the season went.
Yeah, and they didn't – in watching that game, Texas got into the red zone several times, and they went for it on 4th down instead of kicking field goals.
Sark was there.
And so they that game would have looked different, and it didn't feel like he called a full offense. You remember me texting you, Dad, and I don't think he called a full offense for Arch because it was very conservative in a way. And so when you're putting it like that, I think you're absolutely right.
So that's why the hype around those teams have been what they've been and how we should feel and things of that nature. I do think Indiana's a good team. Don't get me wrong. I think Ohio State's a good team. But I also think they don't play nobody.
Right. And for me, I just need I need everybody to know where I start from. Where I start from is there are no 9s and 10s in college football. In other words, I can go back and look at the Alabama guys. Alabama teams that won titles and go, man, that was a 9. That was a 10. Even the Alabama teams that lost to like Clemson, those Clemson teams were 9 and 10s. And you had 9s and 10s playing each other. And when you have 9s and 10s playing each other, man, all the other teams are just excluded. Like there was not a lot of chance that there was other teams who you can go back in those days, you can go back in those days and find teams that were the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th team ranking wise that would probably be 1 or 2, 3 or 4 now. Like they would beat the top 4 teams now, and they weren't even getting into the playoffs. They weren't getting into the top 4, and they would be better than the top 4. So that's what I'm saying about Indiana. And because of that, I think you have in the 12-team playoffs, exclude the bottom 2, Tulane and I think from the number 10 team, Miami, to the number 1 team, Indiana, you have some 6s and 7s. I don't think that I just don't think like if you told me you pick any team from Nick Saban's era once from 2008 on, and I would let them. Only team I would take out would be I did anyway. But I could go back to 2000. If you give me 2008 till now, right? And say, pick any team out of that. Which team would you take in this field over any Saban team?
Oh, if you go from that 12-2 08 team to his last national championship team, I'm not taking nobody over any of them.
That's what I'm saying.
And I'm not taking them over the team, like you said, the teams that lost to Clemson in the national championship game. I'm not taking them over the Oregon teams from back then. I'm not taking them over Florida State when they had their run. LSU, the 2019 playoffs, none of them.
Pick one national champion from the turn of the century till now that you would take somebody in this field over them. You can't. Even that Auburn team with Cam Newton.
Yeah.
I think that would be the closest, just because Cam carried that team by himself.
But they had a bunch of 22 and 23-year-olds.
I know, that's what I'm saying. That
didn't quit.
That would probably be the closest, just because it wasn't a lot of star power, but it was the experience factor with them.
So
I'm trying to think early 2000s.
Yeah, I mean
maybe that Oklahoma, and maybe that Oklahoma team that won ugly. What was that? Oklahoma, Florida State.
But who
that
were they
13-2 game?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Nobody.
Oh yeah, Sam. There was a national championship game, 13-2.
I'm not knocking the players today. I'm just saying, because of the lack of depth, the lack of like you get better by the guys you play against, right? Well, you get better by the guys you play against. So
what you're talking about is the experience and the depth of it, because the depth thing is you, and this is what has hurt Alabama.
Put it like this. Watch this. If I go back and name Clemson, Georgia, Ohio State, and Alabama since the college football playoffs began, if I go back to those early teams before the transfer portal in NIL, if I go back to that point, those teams had more first rounders running second and third team than the teams playing today have in the first round. I mean, on their first unit.
Yeah.
There were more first rounders waiting to get on the field than that's playing right now.
Yeah. I mean, you look at Saban's teams, what was it, from like 11 to 15, 16? And it was you could pull up the whole offense and defense, and every single one of them jokers made it to the NFL, and half of them were first round draft picks.
Absolutely. And hey, listen, we'll address one more question, and I'm going to do a quick Christmas message in honor of our normal Wednesday, where we have the Harvest Church Christian Moment of the Week. But guys, if you like, I mean, this is where we're headed. We're going to continue to do the Martin Houston Show on the radio, but you can see the Houston Huddle is 3 voices, every angle beyond the headlines. Just like we talked here, it's going to be interactive with you guys. Like, we have a full game plan of what we want to talk about, but we're going to go where you want to go as well. And 3 distinct voices, 3 distinct opinions, so you'll get every angle. My boys will disown me when I say something crazy like they did today. And we'll go beyond the headlines, and I guess in some cases we'll even make the headlines. So with the Houston Huddle and the Signetti conversation, I just want y'all to go back and check it. I just want you to check me. Check me. I'm just saying. I'm not dogging. I'm saying he's high functioning, and he's doing it at a high level. So follow the Houston Huddle at the Houston Huddle. Follow, like, and share on your favorite platform, and we'll get that thing done for you without a doubt. Hey, let's close out with this last question here. I do like the fact Chuck Hunt brought up a neat point. Indiana, in some ways, is a lot like possibly Oregon. Remember, Oregon was irrelevant till Phil Knight started pumping money in, and they started getting the cool uniforms, and everybody started going there and wanting to play there. I didn't know Mark Cuban was an alumni for Indiana. Chuck Hunt said, I don't know if that's true. If it's true, that may explain it. I know that I heard DeBoer make the following statement. DeBoer said the one year he was there, he saw a concerted effort for them to start putting money into the program to get better. So Signetti gets credit, guys, but this was a slow build.
Signetti University, Bloomington.
Do what?
He went to Indiana.
So, but what I'm saying is that he came in after they didn't make the commitment with him. They made the commitment when that staff was there with Womack and let that sink in. The head coach and the defensive coordinator 5 years ago was at Indiana, at the 2 at Alabama. And that, to me, is when they started making that concerted effort. And what did they find? They found a 3-star quarterback that nobody else wanted to play at quarterback, right? A guy named Michael Penix. So things like that happened. But Big Dog and several other people asking, let me see who asked the question first. I don't think it was Big Dog asked it first. Someone asked, do you think yeah, that was Big Dog. You think the SEC, college football, would survive without the SEC? Because every week the SEC is the top-rated game. What is the impact as we wrap up this special edition of the Martin Houston Show? What would be the result?
Well, I mean, the South is so ingrained with football, so which makes sense why the SEC brings in the most numbers. And there's not many other competing factors. Not as many professional sports in some of the states in the Southeast. And so that's, in my opinion, college football would not be, the biggest brands in college football, Alabama, LSU, Georgia, Florida, Texas A&M, all those schools wouldn't exist without the SEC. And so that would cause numbers to spiral, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think when you look at it, it's if if the SEC had never existed, it'd be somebody else. If there was, it would be. But with what it is, if the SEC disappeared, college football would crumble because of the brand and how it is built. And as you said, it's in most of the states that are Southeastern Conference teams is predominantly college. Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas, Kentucky. There's no competing interest from a professional team. And then even when you look at the other states like Tennessee and Louisiana, there's not a ton of competition from professional teams. So it's become a way of life. And you talk about it, everything that the South has been through historically. Football has become the greatest equalizer and the greatest unifier. And that's one thing to say that we have to celebrate down here. And that's what makes it fun and exciting. And that's why we talk so much trash to everybody else. Because you can't be and you hate us because you ain't us.
Yeah, and I'll bring out a couple of angles on that as well. First and foremost, Alabama is responsible for the dominance of SEC in Southern football. Before 1925, the season of 1925, the national championship in that they won the Rose Bowl, they joked that they're going to play this little Southern team coming out here. And there was no respect on the South, no respect on the football in the South. All of the big programs, the Michigans and Ohio State, were North and West Coast. And then Alabama made that train ride all the way out to the Rose Bowl and kicked that Washington butt. I think that's kind of ironic in the 100th year of the Rose Bowl that our coach is a former Washington coach. But anyway, this is that's where it began, and then over time it's just been dominant. And here's the part that I would tell you that's crazy. It's not just that we're good in the South; it's that we're so good. We have the smallest markets. We have the smallest television markets. So if all of the Alabama is like top, if you take the top 10 games this year, Alabama's probably got 5 of them for the highest rated views, if not more. Okay. We have the smallest TV market. So you have to ask yourself, how is it possible that the smallest TV market playing against teams that have an equally smaller market compared to, you look at how the Big Ten expanded, and the reason they expanded to the teams they expanded was to try to get TV market. They got California, the East Coast, the New York. They have all to expand their markets. They have the big markets. They have the big media markets. Yet week after week, Alabama leading the pack, and the SEC always had the top rated teams. Why? The reason Alabama does it is because Alabama fans are loyal and love it, but we couldn't do it by ourselves. It's the hate. The hate is real. They hate Alabama so much. They hate Alabama so much that they watch us, pulling for us to lose. I mean, boy, if you go back and look, the social media when it was 17-0, man, it was popping. It was viral, the hate from everybody. They were like, yeah, look at them. They didn't deserve to be in. Look at them. They should put Notre Dame in.
Notre Dame fans were having a field day.
Who what?
Notre Dame fans were having a field day. I said that tide started to turn and shut them up.
Yeah. So anyway, that's why I think so. So to answer your question, the SEC, led by Alabama, brings in so much money to college football. Brings in so like we keep some of the radio stations jumping outside of the South. Like there are radio shows that call and want Alabama guys on their shows because even though they don't even play in the SEC, they do their thing. And here's my only concern is Alabama does have fans all over and haters everywhere, according to Sam Pittner. We're from Virginia, love Bama, and we get hated on constantly. But my only concern is that Alabama is bringing in a lot of people who don't understand our tradition. When we went from the 18 to 20,000 to the 40,000, 35 to 40,000, that's a lot of people coming from a lot of places. The question is, will they come back? When they leave here and go back to their home states and all of that, will they still be Alabama fans? Because remember, they got on the wagon when we were the dominant team under Saban. Will they stick with Bama if it goes bad, or will they just go to wherever? In the next generation of their children, will they come to Alabama? That's the question.
Now, that is very interesting, especially because I've got a lot of my friends that aren't from here, that went to school here. It's always interesting when it was close to graduation and stuff like that. The remarks that they would, oh yeah, man, I love the University of Alabama, but I'm never coming back to Tuscaloosa. Yeah. I can't tell you how many times I heard that.
And that's what I'm saying. And it's not them that will end it. It'll be their kids. Will their kids have that Bama love like something? And I think that we've hit it's possible with DeBoer having passed Saban in terms of wins in his first 2 years, that we are still relevant and we're still the team you love to hate. And if we fool around and knock off the #1 team and make it to the Final Four in year 2 of the guy replacing the GOAT, and in 2 years he has us in the college football Final Four, the same place Nick Saban left the program.
Because it had to win 2 games to get there.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Woo.
It's gonna be I'm here for it. I'm here.
Any closing thoughts, guys? Closing thoughts before I hit a quick Christmas devotion. Nope. Simeon, I don't hear you.
Lost you.
Disconnect, and connect back. Actually, your closing thoughts.
Yeah, no, I mean, hey, this has been a blast. This is fun. It's going to be fun to get to do this where it's just free flowing, no pausing, just talking ball. Because for y'all don't know, this is what we do. Like when we're hanging out together at the house or texting, watching games. This is how we talk and just have fun. So this will be exciting to do that on the podcast, but also continuing to do it on the airwaves Monday through Friday.
Simeon, are you back yet? Nope. Let me see. No, you got to disconnect yourself and then connect back. So, but yeah, X. This is, and that's what I want to. You're back, but can you talk? Nope, can't hear you, man. What you do? What you do over there? Check your audio. Check your audio in the settings. While he's checking his, can you hear us? Okay. But like I said, the Houston Huddle, guys, is gonna be. This is what it's gonna be about. It's gonna be the Houston crew just talking and hanging out and really giving you a seat around the table. As Xavier said, this is what we do. We kind of sit around and we talk and we laugh, and it as you can see after my Signetti comment, it might go anywhere. I'm gonna have to remember that. There we go. I heard that one. I heard you click, Simeon. I heard you click. You hear me? Yes, sir.
Hey,
welcome back, baby. Yeah. And here's the thing. You probably can see the 3 personalities here. Simeon is kind of the logical one. He kind of balances Xavier and I out, kind of calls us on the carpet when we say crazy stuff. That's why he lost it when I said this name thing. Xavier's kind of the encyclopedia of the group, and I'm just the old head, right? I probably don't know as much football as they do, but when you lived as long as I have, you learn and see some things, and so that's why we say it's just three voices. We'll all have a voice in what we do, and we'll take every angle. We'll argue. Sometimes we'll even argue a point that we don't agree with. In other words, sometimes I'll take up a topic and I may totally agree with them, but I might just argue with them just so you see the other side, man. And then beyond the headlines, we're going to talk about things that other people aren't talking about. So hey, Xavier, let me see me. Keith said you're going to have to drop that Boost Mobile.
My AirPod died and it just totally jacked it up.
Oh yeah, because when your AirPod died, it disconnected, and now you have to reset it to a different one, man. But like I said, beyond the headlines, so we'll talk about things we like today. We talked about things that you're not gonna hear talked about anywhere else. You're just not gonna hear it. So we encourage you, like, follow, share the Houston Huddle on whatever your favorite platform is. Our next show, our first show, will be next Tuesday, officially at 7:00. We'll put up an event, so you can go ahead and be registered for it. But we'll broadcast on all of these channels at that time, and so it'll be a lot of fun. But that'll be the first one, and we'll be breaking down and have some specifics on that show that we may not hit on the morning show, the Martin Houston show. But anything, closing thoughts, Simeon, before I do a quick get out of here?
No, just super thankful. Merry Christmas to everybody. Remember the reason for the season. And just looking forward to building 2026 and building out this show with you guys. It's been really fun for me to join the past few weeks. So, having to wake up a little bit earlier, but still having to get used to that. But I'm glad to be able to be on the show with you guys.
Absolutely.
And what the funny thing is? Getting to do this is because, like I said, I hinted at it. People probably don't realize me and Simeon are 11 years apart. So getting to do something like this now is cool because we grew up completely different. I was a senior in high school. He was in kindergarten, and we didn't relate or talk. I always joke that the first time me and Sim had a real conversation, I was a husband and a father. So this is just really fun. I know for me as the big brother, getting to actually talk football with my little brother now that he's old enough and stuff like that.
Yeah. And to answer Mark Anders' question again, December 30th, Tuesday, December 30th at 7:00 is going to be our first official episode. And then, of course, you'll get a taste of it when we're doing the Martin Houston show with Martin, Xavier, and Simeon on the radio. But I just put that out there. But there'll also be an event tab that will get put up there where you can do that. In the meantime, like, follow, share, tell your friends and family about it. We'll be putting up that. We'll have some reels and different things going. But really quick, it is the Christmas season, and man, what an awesome God we serve. I'll read from verse 8 of Luke 2. It says, "And there were shepherds living out in the fields nearby, keeping watch over their flocks at night. An angel of the Lord appeared to them, and the glory of the Lord shone around them, and they were terrified. But the angel said to them, 'Do not be afraid. I bring you good news that will cause great joy for all people. Today in the town of David, a Savior has been born to you. He is the Messiah, the Lord. This will be a sign to you. You will find a baby wrapped in swaddling clothes and lying in a manger.'" Man, this is one of my favorite stories. I love the fact that when you look at what happened, all other faiths and religions out there, their God, their God was, hey, come to me, come to me, come to me. Our God said what? Our God said, I'm going to come be with you. That's why his name was Emmanuel. Emmanuel means God with us. God with us. So our God said, hey, you can't reach me. I'll come to you. And he didn't just come in any fashion. He could have came to a palace. He could have came as a king. He could have came any way he wanted to, but he came as a baby in a manger to a poor family. The reason I know it was a poor family was because the sacrifice that they made when they went to the temple, the two doves, etc., was the sacrifice of a poor family. And the reason I think he did that was he was coming, even though he was King of Kings and he had been at the highest of highs, he came at the lowest of lows so that he could reach everybody in between. He could reach anybody from his royal place in heaven all the way to the lowest place here on earth and everyone in between. That's why it says peace came to who? All the people. And as a result of that, he was with us. And I want to say this, he was with us not just in the good times. You know, for some of you, it may be that this is your first Christmas as a new husband or with a new child or with new family, etc. On the flip side of that, he's with you. But on the flip side of that, it's a lot of people going through this time where finances are really tough and Christmas doesn't bring joy. It brings burden and pressure and stress. There's someone going through Christmas this time where they've lost a loved one, lost a husband for the first time that they may have been married to for a while, lost a child, lost a parent, lost a grandparent. They're going through that. And this is a sorrow time and in a grieving time. He's with you during this time as well. So he is with us in the pain, in the suffering, in the peace, in the joy, in the victory, in defeat. Our God is with us. But that's not enough. It's not enough, Simeon and Xavier. He didn't come to just be with us. He came to be in us so we can have him with us, not just here on earth, but into eternity. Because right now he's with us. But if you don't make the decision to accept him, he won't be with you in eternity. And our God came to be with us through eternity. And so accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior today. And remember, this is how I want to close this out. This is really, really good. Most people don't realize that the wise men and the magi were like astrologers. They were Gentiles. They were not followers of Christ. Followers of God, followers of Yahweh, followers of Jehovah. But the light that came into the world, Jesus drew them. And they traveled to see this king that was born as a babe. Why? Because they wanted to know him. They were searching for the truth. The shepherds came. The shepherds were the lowest of the low. They were the people who were kind of looked at as the outcasts, yet they were the first to worship. And so God came to draw all men to him. God came to draw all men to him. And so he's drawing you today and asking you to accept him as your Lord and Savior. And I close with just a couple closing thoughts and challenges. That light drew the astrologer, the shepherd, and everybody in between. Church people, Christian people, Jesus came as the light of the world. And back then, whether you were a Christian or not, light represented hope, divinity, and peace. And Jesus said, I'm the light of the world, and I'm going to give peace to all men. But here's the thing. Jesus bridged the gap between lost man and God. You and I are called to be the light that bridges the gap between lost man and Jesus. Go light your world. Be the difference. Just like Jesus came into the world to bridge that gap, you now go into the world like the shepherds did and tell, come see this babe that I've seen. And I close with this thought. God so loved the world, guys, that he gave. Love calls him to give. And as we go through this Christmas season, I know don't let the world steal what this season means. It's not about receiving gifts. It's not about all of the commercialization. And I know we had a couple guys joke that they were going to get the Dumb Husband of the Year award because Christmas snuck up on them. It'll mess you up in the middle of the week. But don't let that become the most important thing. Let the most important thing you do be that your love causes you to give. And that may be gifts, it may be time, it may be a kind word, it may be that you just give a kind ear. Whatever it is, let the love that you have that is now living in you cause you to give, just like Jesus's love did to give. And take time to get to know people. Why did Jesus come? Why did Jesus come as a baby? He came as a baby so that he could learn what it means to be human, and then he could relate to you through whatever you're going through. He came to be with you, but he also came so he could understand you. He grew and at all points were tempted, just like you and I, so that when we called upon him as our high priest, he would understand who we were. And that's what we need to remember this Christmas season. It's about a love that calls God to give, a love that causes Jesus to come. And now it's our responsibility to love, go, and tell. Wishing you a Merry Christmas from the Martin Houston Show and from the Houston Huddle. I'm Martin Houston. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas, buddy. Catch y'all.
All right. Hey, guys. Go ahead.
No. Catch y'all Monday, Friday. What?
Well. I mean, we hadn't talked about Friday. I'm open, but we
I just thought about something.
Hey, if we pop up, we'll pop up.
Yeah.
But we'll definitely be back. We'll definitely be back on Monday. We'll definitely be back on Monday. And be looking for follow us, and you'll see us dropping things at the Houston Huddle and on the Martin Houston Show pages. We'll be dropping reels and different things like that. So just stay connected. But most of all, man, enjoy your family over the next couple of days. Be safe out there. Make wise choices and decisions, and go light your world. We look forward to seeing you back. And remember this: trust in the Lord always. Lean not in your own understanding. All your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. Roll Tide, everybody, and Merry Christmas from the Houston crew. And we'll be back on Monday for sure.